Hello everyone, welcome to this video where we will be looking at 10 more rejected Battlebots designs. Some of them are just as crazy as the first bunch, and some of them are just really good looking. All of them are interesting though, so let's dive right in. First of all, thank you very much to everyone for the support on the first video. It's become the most popular video on the channel, and the feedback was amazing, so thank you so much. All of you who left comments and liked the video, so thank you all. So, in this list, just like last time, we'll be covering robots that had their applications rejected and never made it to the show. For this reason, robots like Helicopter, which were built and made it, but for whatever reason didn't make it to TV, they're not going to be included. But robots like Acme Drill, which were just rejected, just like hands down rejected and didn't actually get built or make it, they will be covered in this video. If you want to find out more about Acme Drill, you can go and watch the first part, because we covered it there. So, let's get straight into our first robot. This is Bad Penny, and Bad Penny was a robot which tried to enter the 2016 season of Battlebots, and you might be looking at it thinking, what's so special about it? It's just a ring spinner, why have you put it on the list, you moron? No, basically right, Bad Penny was a robot which had 6 electromagnets, and that's how it moved. It didn't have wheels, no tracks, no legs, no shuffler bot nonsense, nothing. It used 6 electromagnets to propel itself around the floor. Like, it uses the momentum from the ring spinner and alternating the magnets on the floor, and somehow that moves it across the floor. I don't know, this is really hard to explain, like, honestly. Yeah, so here we go. The robot would utilize off-center torque. I don't know what any of that means, but yeah, it sounds complicated. So that's just, so it's a ring spinner that used electromagnets to move and got rejected, I think because electromagnets don't work on the Battlebox floor. That's the only reason I can think of. And this would be useful actually. This is not a good idea because, well, it is a good idea, sorry. So as well as using them to move across the floor, if it wanted to, it could just stick there in place. So if the robot was, if its opponent was driving into it, all of the energy from the impact would go into the opponent because Bad Penny would just be stuck to the floor basically. So that's quite clever. However, the team didn't stop there. There was an interchangeable weapon setup that they had called the Sonic Boom Pneumatic Spear Gun. That's not me who's made that up, that name. That is actually what the team called it. And basically, it was like a spear attached to a block and tackle system that would fire the spear at high speed rates towards the opponent. So it's a ring spinner moving with magnets across the floor, and it's got a pneumatic projectile on top. Like, this team, honestly, talk about crazy designs. Like, my god, it's kind of reminding me of that Revenge of Trouble and Strife from Robot Wars, just a ring spinner with like really noisy ring spinner with a pneumatic contraption on top. That's what it's reminding me of actually. So that was Bad Penny. The next robot we have is Student Loans, and Student Loans, oh, that's already a scary name. So basically, Student Loans, right, this is the only picture I have of it, sorry. So Student Loans was a robot which applied for Battlebots 2019 with no success. So it was a angled bar spinner, similar to Tombstone but angled. And the team said that they angled the spinner so that it could either send robots flying on impact or slam them into the ground. Which is, you know, not a bad choice there, so it could be a decent little robot. So it's got a horrible gyro effect though, like angle spinners. If you had the power of Tombstone is unstable enough and it's horizontal, so what's an angled Tombstone gonna do except fly around the arena? So what made Student Loans special though was its armor. It basically had a sandwich as armor. It had a sandwich of steel over carbon fiber, and so this it increased ductility. It was fairly light, but quite impact resistant. And I'm surprised no one else has actually done this before. So that's pretty cool. I like that idea. So that is Student Loans, and I believe we have a video of it spinning up. So let's see what that was. That was pretty cool, isn't it? Sorry there was no sound on that, but it looked pretty cool. So maybe Student Loans was one of the robots that could have done better had it been given the opportunity to compete. The next robot we have is Dagger, and Dagger is an American robot, I think from Washington, and it was basically a pneumatic hammer thing. I don't know if you could call that a hammer. It looks like a Lego axle, like it looks kind of like Robo Chicken as well to an extent. And basically, it was chosen as a reserve. Now, looking at this robot, I can see so many weaknesses on it. So, if that hammer was any good, then the robot would be quite unstable because it's quite narrow. With hammer bots, you need like a wide base, you know, so the robot doesn't shake like Shatter does and like bounce all over the arena when it tries to hit something. It's got two exposed wheels, and they look like the kind of wheels that would get ripped off in one hit. And that wedge on the front is like split in half. So if it's fighting a horizontal spinner, the horizontal spinner's got a big opportunity there to get a load of biting. So basically the hammer on the end was like a Lego axle. I'm not sure what they were planning to do with that. Yeah, so we do have a video of it fighting at Robo Games 2016 after it got rejected for Battlebots. So let's see what that did, what it looks like there. Okay, so as you can see, you get the gist of what was happening there. It didn't have a lot of power in the weapon, and that was against a flipper, so I don't know how it would have handled a spinner. Maybe it's best that the team has more practice, and then maybe they can enter Battlebots another time, because Dagger, it's just not on the same level as some of the robots. So yeah, so let's see what our third robot is. Our third robot is Scuttle, who tried to enter 2016. And basically, Scuttle was a drum spinner with 3 wheels, and it has like the Omni wheels. There's a robot called Ominous entering 2020, which has the same kind of setup, but Scuttle kind of pioneered it in Battlebots, which is quite interesting. So it has that small little drum spinner on the front. It's a good little robot. So it can move in any direction, not just forwards, backwards, left and right, but it can move sideways as well, which is really cool. And that drum spinner looks like it would have a lot of bite as well. It just looks quite small though. So this was the team that previously entered with Golem, and Golem, which looks like something out of RA2, and the team went from that to this, and that's a big improvement. So like, wow. Let's see why it was rejected. Scuttle applied for ABC Season 2 but was ultimately rejected, likely for being too similar to Minotaur in design. Whoever wrote this article, how are these two in what reality are these two similar? They've got drums, they don't even have the same amount of wheels, they're not even the same colour. How are they similar? Like, if it was rejected, it was because maybe it was too small and it was too much chassis, not enough weapon. That's the only reason I can think of, to be honest. But like, it's not because it's similar to Minotaur, so whoever wrote that, nonsense. Right, the next robot, it doesn't have a name. Like, I'd searched far and wide for the name, I couldn't find it. So someone is going to have to name that in the comments section, please. We could come up with a name for this robot. So basically, triple question mark here is it's a drum spinner kind of. It's got like a little, it looks like something from Gold Divers. Like, it looks like something that would be better at digging holes in the ground rather than actually tearing robots off of armor. So we've got the chassis, which is kind of, it's a big bulky chassis and a very small weapon. Like, I don't think it would have done too well because it has ground clearance, it's got lots of angles to be hit from, and basically that's not the mad part of the robot. The mad part is the drone. Now their drone, right, had electromagnets, so that it would fly over a robot. What is the theme with electromagnets in this episode? It would fly over a robot, stick to the robot, and basically use fire, like a fire gun thing, to melt the armor of the robot and cause catastrophic damage. I quote, catastrophic electrical failure. So it was like quite a simple machine, but then the drone itself would be like causing fires and lipo fires and stuff, and so the primary weapon wouldn't have been the drum spinner, it would have been the drone. And I'm not sure how well that drone would have done, to be honest, because in 2016 that's when people were starting to sort of see drones as jokes because they were getting knocked out of the sky every battle. So like I said, it kind of reminds me of S3 from Robot Wars because it's just a lot of chassis, 2 wheels and a really small spinner, Like, the spinner could have been, like, you know, pretty good, but if it's that small, then there's a chance that your opponent is either going to hit you first, or you're just not going to hit them at all. So, and again, the drone, I quote, catastrophic electrical failure. It's not just going to burn your components, it's going to cause catastrophical failure. Like, you're not going to have any chance of repairing this because it's going to be catastrophic. That was the... So remember to come up with a name for that robot. I forgot what it's called, or it doesn't have a name. No, it doesn't have a name. Right. Okay, so our next robot is Mango. I think it's pronounced Mango. Anyway, so Mango means shark in Maori, and this is a robot from Auckland in New Zealand. So basically, this is one of the less crazy designs. It just looks so good. The picture's gone really fuzzy. I don't know why, but like, it's a ring spinner with little cutters on the ends of it that could be exchanged for like hammers and sledgehammers and stuff like that. It has 4 wheels, so it's a 4-wheel drive ring spinner. And yeah, so the only reason I can think of that it would be rejected is because there were too many ring spinners entering. I mean, we already had Bad Penny, we had like Honest Abe from last episode, we had the Ringmaster, which actually made it. So, you know, a lot of full body spinners, a lot of ring spinners going on. The chances are they probably wouldn't pick one to fly all the way in from New Zealand. So, New Zealand, that might sound familiar. That's because it's where Jack Barker is from, the captain of the team that would have built Mango, also built Endgame and the Krusty Grab, 2 very good robots that will hopefully be attending 2020, depending on coronavirus nonsense. So quite an experienced team there. Mango could have been pretty good, but to be honest, I do like Endgame, so I'm kind of glad that it didn't make it. The next robot is Aftershock, and oh my god, some of you are going to be like, oh no, I know Aftershock. Aftershock is from Robot Wars. Yes, Aftershock is from Robot Wars. It's quite a feared machine over here in the UK, because it tried to enter 2016 Battlebots, got rejected for whatever reason, and so it competed in Robot Wars, and it basically tore stuff up in 2017. It ripped things apart, it ripped Sabretooth up. 2017, the second season, it was less successful. It got mullered by Carbide and Big Nipper, basically. So, still a really powerful robot, and I'm going to show you how powerful this robot is in this clip from Robot Wars. So as you can see, big power in the vertical spinner of Aftershock. Team Shock as well are a very experienced team, because they've built a lot of robots over here. So of course they entered Robot Wars with Shockwave, which was like a 360 spinner. There's Aftershock, which still competes at live events, and they've got Earthquake and Manta, 2 very successful flippers, and of course Heatwave, their featherweight, which is basically just like, it's a flipper, but it's got so much power, and it like backflips every time it tries to flip something. So that is Aftershock, and Aftershock I think could have done quite well, because it's a lot of power in a very small package, and this armor was decent as well. It lost to, who did it lose to in 2016? I think it was Carbide that beat it. Whoever it was, they did a very good job to beat it, because I really like Aftershock. A lot of people really like Aftershock, and I didn't know that they actually tried to enter Battlebots with it until quite recently. So, thank you Reddit for telling me that. The next robot, we have Max Velocity. Yes, the robot from the thumbnail, I think. So Max Velocity, again, one of the less crazy designs, I have to say. It's just a really good, sleek looking bot from an experienced team. It's a vertical spinner, of course, 4-wheel drive, wedgelets, self-righter, so it's probably the least crazy design that you could get in Robot Combat. But they tried to enter 2016 with it, and there was a lot of information about this robot. You can actually see its application video on YouTube, because it's from a very experienced team in the US. They're called Team Velocity, and essentially it's a scaled up version of a lightweight called K2, and a lightweight champion K2 is, so it could have done pretty well. So Max Velocity, I'm a little bit disappointed it didn't get selected, because I like Team Velocity. Go and check out their application video, as well as their other robots as well. Their other robots are amazing. So these are the technical specifications. The chassis, I think, was made of aluminium, the frame was, and S7 tool steel for the vertical spinner. and of course it had the self-righting arms at the back. The reason it had self-righting arms is because it's based on K2, and K2 is a lightweight champion I just mentioned, and basically the only time K2 loses is when it gets flipped over and it doesn't have a way of self-righting. So max velocity is essentially K2 without weaknesses, which would have been pretty scary. So let me show you what K2 can do in the lightweight championships. Scary stuff, right? That was a miniature kingpin that it just tossed out of the arena. In that battle it actually got two Utas and completely split a robot in half. So it's very, very scary. A scaled up version of K2 would have been amazing to see, but sadly it was really, really similar to Bite Force, and of course they're going to have to accept Bite Force in 2016 because it's the reigning champion. So that is why we didn't see max velocity. So the second, well, I can't remember how many robots left there are, but we have Diamond Tears, and this is that's not what it, see my amazing editing here. Diamond Tears is a clusterbot, the very first Chinese robot to enter Battlebots, I'm pretty sure. And basically, it was two Hyper Railgun S's, and if you don't know who Hyper Railgun S is, it's a stupidly powerful Chinese middleweight with a vertical spinner. It came 4th at Robo Games. It wins Fight My Bots all the time. It's the reigning middleweight champion over there. And so basically it'll be two of those fighting alongside each other as a multi-bot. And I've always wondered why people haven't done this before, you know, like instead of like trying to design middleweights to fight heavyweights, why don't you just enter two middleweights that are like stupidly powerful like this? So I feel like they could do really well. So, as you will have probably guessed, it's from the same team that entered the Railgun Max. The Railgun Max was a good robot as well. A bit unreliable, but the egg beater on the front had a lot of power in it, which was quite cool. So they eventually got to compete in Battlebots, which is nice. Sadly, they probably won't be able to make it to 2020 because coronavirus. So for some reason they're pink. I'm not sure why, but like this is the latest version of Railgun S, and it would have been two of these basically fighting together in 2018. Like, when are we gonna have a successful multi-bot? Like, honest to God, robots like Gemini, like, no offense to the team, but like, they're kind of unreliable, and they get beaten up a lot, sadly. So, I really want to see a multi-bot do well, and prove that it's not just two little robots just getting bullied by a bigger robot. Just to be successful, please, someone enter a successful multi-bot. I want to see it, okay? The last robot, I think it's the last robot. Called Denkbot V2, and if you're wondering what the hell this is, I was wondering as well. And basically what Denkbot is it's got two weapons. It is a really, really cool looking bot, and it's got like a lifting arm on the back, and what the lifting arm was supposed to do was get a robot on top of it and then sort of throw it into the drum spinner at the front, which is quite cool. It's a really cool concept actually. So that's Denkbot. It was quite a plain robot apart from that though. It's got the obviously you can see all the internals here. The lifting arm, it looks a bit frail to be honest, like the drum spinner looks like it could come off easily because those motors aren't armoured. Anyway, getting a lifting arm to throw a robot into the drum spinner would have been amazing to see, and yeah, I really wanted to see that in real life. So basically, the only reason that it got rejected, Greg Munson, the co-founder of Battlebots, said that he liked the team and liked the charisma, but he said, for the sport to survive on TV, the day of the square bot is a thing of the past. And it's only 4 inches high as well, so wise words from Greg Munson there, and I think after those wise words, we're going to have to end the video. So, thank you very much if you made it this far. I hope you enjoyed it. A lot of research and editing went into this, so thank you very much for the support on the last video. I hope this video does as well. Thank you very much for watching, and bye bye.